Well, let's hope this works this time. Oh, 07, everybody. How we doing tonight? Hopefully good, I'm hoping. This is Zyron, aka Axis0096, and I'm hoping I can get some things working here. Just a second. Double checking everything. Let's see. That's odd. Anyways, my last video unfortunately didn't have proper sound or anything really going with it. So, yeah, it was. Scenes. Hello? Uh-oh. Okay, that's weird. Okay, it's being a punk at the moment. Sorry, chat. Oh, let's do it. Come on. There we go. Okay. Now then. I don't know what's going on. There we go. See if my name for this is showing up properly. Yep, it is. Alright. That's showing up properly. What about on Twitch? Alright. So, how does it sound noise-wise? How does it sound? Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, yeah, I'm getting an echo effect. Sorry. Anyways. Sorry about that, chat. Here we go. Now that I got things working again, we are going to start with the Starmap basics. This is basically the Starmap as it is that we have represented for the game. Most of the systems here are not even in the initial plans for the persistent universe, but eventually they will be down the road. One of them, the system that we all call home currently, is Stanton. It has 4 planets, Stanton's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it also has, I believe, 12 moons, maybe? Let's see, there are 4 moons around Hurston, 2 around ArcCorp, 3, 2, okay, there's 5 here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 moons. 10 moons in the Stanton system. Okay, very good. Starting with the star at the center, which is a sun-like G-class star. It's just like our sun. The next object out we have is Hurston, which is Stanton 1. It is a heavily polluted, heavily industrialized planet that has been heavily mined and tapped for resources by the Hurston Dynamics corporation and family. They have pretty much destroyed this pristine world as it was. It has 4 moons, many of them. Aberdeen, for example, is once, I believe it's either Aberdeen or Ariel, had a habitable climate at one time. But now it does not. It in fact has scorching deserts and such all over the planet. Well, scorched wastelands, I should put it that way, yeah. On Aberdeen. It also has the, what do you call it? The prison that is operated in the system right here. Klesher Rehabilitation. Next moon for Hurston, Magda, named after the current the captain of UE Colonel Gavin E. Stanton. It's named after his mother. Ariel is named after the third CEO, who is known for creating the controversial life labor style employee contract. And then after that, we have Ita, which is named after Ida Hurston, who died during the First Tevarin War. As a reminder of why the product Hurston Dynamics makes her so important. Yes, to all you warmongers out there, yes. Now, from Hurston itself, we now travel to Crusader. This is a habitable gas giant. By that I mean it's just like in Star Wars lore, Bespin. Bespin had a habitable atmosphere and everything else. So, this also has an ecosystem in the upper clouds. It's one of the few breathable at high altitude atmospheres gas giants, probably in the Empire as a whole. It is also the manufacturing hub for the giant ship manufacturer Crusader, who occupies the floating platforms and build ships like the Starliner, the Hercules, among other ships. They also have a floating city, very much like Cloud City, called Horizon, and several other smaller satellite floating communities that have just recently been added to the game. After that, we have... Hold on, not this object yet. Hold on. There's a lot of stuff here. What is this? What is this? Port Olisar. Now, this is a retired space station. It's been replaced by Seraphim. So this is no longer orbiting Crusader in particular. Cryastro either. I don't think any of these current space stations are here. Korea is, which is the security depot for Crusader security. But that's about it. Orbiting also closer to Crusader, or hold on, if I can zip in. Where's all the moons? Cellin is the innermost moon, which is similar to Io. Its volcanoes, unlike Io, though, are currently dormant. They're not active in the game. Not what I was trying to click on. Daymar, the second moon of Crusader, is the largest moon of the planet. And here in about 5 days, this will be host to one of the largest esports in Star Citizen currently, sponsored by Atmo, the Daymar Rally. This large moon is hot, desert, very Tatooine-like. In fact, it's one of my personal favorite planetary bodies in the entire game. What is this? Well, after Daymar and Selen, we have Yella, which has a ring system of asteroids and cometary debris floating around it, and it's cold and icy. This moon probably has cryovolcanoes and geysers. Otherwise, it's pretty much the hangout spot for Grimhex, among other locations in the verse. There's a lot of criminal activity around here. Anyways, that's it for the inner system of Hurston. Oh yeah, before I forget. And opposing those criminals are the Crusader security guys at Security Post Korea. You can tell how old this map is. It's yet to be updated, so it should be. But, yeah. In between Crusader and ArcCorp, the next planet, is a band of asteroids called the Aaron Halo. Now, I don't know if it's still planned, in the game or not. But in this area, there are supposed to be these locks or, these gateways to the inner part of the system that are controlled by ArcCorp and Crusader for security. I think the people at CIG have decided not to implement them, but at some point they're going to have a way to get us to the Aaron Halo. Probably with the new Starmap or some sort of beacons to get us out here. That's my guess. Anyways, this is an area that's rife with mining. You'll see a lot of people and orgs take out their mining rigs and such out to the Aaron Halo to mine. Same with the Yella asteroid field. Anyways, moving on to the next planet of the Stanton system, Stanton 3, also called ArcCorp. It's pretty much an ecumenopolis. This is a city planet, just like Coruscant in Star Wars. Very similar. Cities cover a large area of the planet itself. Most of the natural environment of ArcCorp is no longer present on this world. Orbiting it, and its space station is, what is it? It's not Everest Harbor or Seraphim Station. Those are the two other planets. This would be... No, Port Tressler is the outermost one. Gosh, it's hard to remember them all. Something Harbor. I can't remember the name. I'm sure chat will correct me if I'm wrong. After that, its orbital station, we have Walla, which is the innermost of the moons. It has tidal force. Well, no, this is the outermost moon. Walla, which is problate, meaning it's squashed like a ball. It's like a squash ball. And it's icy. The inner moon, Lyria, has cryogeysers and cryovolcanoes like Triton in our solar system. And then after this, we have Microtech, which is a cold planet that had apparently some sort of terraforming accident that left it unusually colder than it should be. It's a super Earth with New Babbage as its landing zone. One of my favorite places to land, actually, is this place. It has 3 moons, Calliope, which is really not one of my favorite places. Cleo is, because it's like a Dragon Ball Z location, like Namek, with a weird alien-looking place. And then we also have its final moon, Eutropy, which is the smallest moon in the Microtech system. Accompanying all these objects are 3 stations at the jump points. We have the Stanton Terra jump point and its station, Stanton Pyro jump point, and Magnus Stanton jump point. These all have space stations orbiting near them that are used in order to, for the trade of goods and probably eventually commodities checking. Like checking for contraband. That's just how it is. Anyways, continuing on. So this is the current system we're in. Stanton. At a certain point, though, hopefully soon, we will be able to jump here. Now, already, late last year, I'm having to seriously eat my pride and swallow it because we've already explored parts of Pyro in the PU. So I have to swallow my pride a little bit. I said before the end of the year happened, we would never see Pyro. Well, I basically have to swallow my pride and admit I was wrong to everyone here. That I basically, it was a fool's errand betting on and against CIG. Really stupid, really. But hey, I'm glad to be wrong. Anyways, even though it was only half of the system, look what a system it is. Look at this. We're going to start in Pyro now. Since we now have explored it a little bit, we're going to go over the planets and star. Pyro Prime, also known simply as Pyro, is a K-dwarf that flares. And many of you guys who have already played this system know all too well this star is lethal if it flares up near your ships. It's not a fun ride. Orbiting Pyro pretty closely is a Pyro Kano jump point, but after that, we come to Pyro 1, which almost looks like a smog world. They've changed how it looks. I actually was injured during the Pyro Playground stuff, so I did not get to experience any of this. But from what I've seen, this planet is very stormy and has a very volatile looking surface. Again, in other people's playthroughs, but I wanted to experience it myself. Probably hot here too, because we're so close to the star. Opposite of Pyro 1, but in the same orbital path, is the Akiro cluster. Pyro Cluster Alpha. It's a charred cluster of blackened asteroids that, while mostly worthless, some rare minerals can be found here and materials. I have a theory about the Akiro cluster. Several of the planets have impact scars on them. Could the Akiro cluster be the remnants of Pyro 7? Think about that for a second, folks. This is an isolated asteroid field. Could it be a collisional remnant? Who knows? And then we have orbiting over here, before we get to Monox, well, Pyro 2 is known as Monox. It's a coreless, heavily mined planet that has part oxygen, part carbon monoxide in its atmosphere. Mm-hmm. So you can rebreathe on the surface of the planet, but you can't, naturally breathe in the open here. I would assume there's still minerals here you can tap into. At the L4 of Monox, we have Checkmate Station. This is where you started your playthrough in Pyro for now. It's a former pyrotechnic amalgamated supply station located in the L4 Lagrange of Monox. Abandoned when Pyrotechnic went out of business, it was soon claimed by outlaws. The Rough and Ready gang currently reigns at Checkmate and will allow travelers to stop there for supplies, fuel, and entertainment. Yeah. I wonder what kind of entertainment they're thinking of. Probably nothing pleasant for rowdy visitors, I bet. And then for the outermost of the planets that we visited so far is Bloom, Pyro 3. Now this says uninhabitable or non-habitable here. But it has a breathable nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere, and it's just cold, probably due to the distance from the star. So this planet is habitable and inhabitable. So, yeah. Anyways. After Bloom, we get to a huge gap in the planets. We get to the Pyro 4 and 5 sector. Pyro 4 was knocked out of its original orbit and has been captured by Pyro 5. It's basically a Pyro 5 satellite now. Pyro 5 itself is a massive gas giant with shades of green and yellow. It's the largest planet in this system. It has 6 standard moons and 1 interloper. Vur is basically a carbon-rich planetoid that supports its unique plant life that has crystalline carbon in their base structure. So maybe a science area at some point? Okay. Adair has a crater-ridden surface and is interspaced with rocky hills and jagged mountains. Okay. Ignis, covered in deep canyons and dried riverbeds. There's no sign of present water. Pyro has frequent earthquakes and tremors causing waves in its brackish seas. Fuego has yellow-black soil and high amounts of iron sulfide, so maybe mineral resources. Also, this place was where people thought the demo trailer was in the 2022, or was it 2021 trailer for the Pyro Outpost? 2021, I think. Yeah. I don't think it was on Fuego. I think it was Pyro 3, like they said. And then we have Vatra, which has a high-pressure nitrogen methane atmosphere, which hides a dark and eerie landscape. I think that's it. And that's the Pyro 4-5 system, followed by Terminus. First, though, we have Ruin Station, which orbits Pyro 6. It was a Gold Horizons platform. orbiting Pyro 6. It was owned and operated until it was abandoned and overrun by outlaws. Feuds between the factions have led to frequent and deadly battles, making this location extremely dangerous for civilians and outlaws alike. And it orbits the planet Terminus, which is Pyro 6. It's a frigid, barely habitable planet with a methane-laced atmosphere. So that's Pyro. The Stanton jump point is way over here. So I'm beginning to wonder how we're going to be able to get to there. We're beyond even the reach of, it's in the same plane, but we're way beyond the outer reach of Pyro 6's orbit. We're way far away. Pyro has dozens of jump points. One to Nyx, Oso, Hadrian, Terra, Kano, like I said earlier, and Castron and Hadrian. Nyx is more than likely our third system that will eventually arrive in the verse. It's a favorite system of mine for one reason: Levski. Nyx has 4 objects orbiting it of note, including its main star. Unlike Pyro's dying star, Nyx Prime is a F-type main sequence star. It's hot, young, and bright. Orbiting close to Nyx, Nyx 1 is a heat-swept, coreless world. It's been mined clean. However, I truly believe this planet probably has UGFs and other outposts that you will be able to explore at some point. Just because. So, yeah. After Nyx 1, we have a barely habitable planet. This is classified as a smog world. This is Nyx 2. It's high-pressure atmosphere of acid and carbon dioxide. It's basically like Venus. So, yeah. Not worth terraforming. Now, this planet could change to a hot house planet, very similar to Earth, but still habitable. I doubt it, though. I kind of doubt they're going to make it just super habitable. They've always stressed Nyx will have more of a wild side to it. The Nyx jump point is right here, outside the Glacium Ring, which is our next area where Delamar is. It's a large moon-sized asteroid within the Glacium Ring. It's anti-UEE activists, political radicals, and criminals now occupy a deserted mining facility built inside this asteroid. In an effort to keep out criminal elements, visitors are strictly forbidden from entering its residential areas. Well, I don't know. What if you live there? The Glacium Ring also is where there's a lot of mining. Should also be known that this system is very dark and shadowy, so it's very easy to get obscured from sensors here. The next planet is the one that I think will change the most. It's an ice... Listen to this description. Does this sound very fun? Nyx 3 is a ice giant that lacks a breathable atmosphere or any valuable elements or materials. That doesn't sound super fun to me. I kind of think, like Pyro, there will be some modifications to some of the planets in Nyx. Hopefully this one at least gets some moons, because None of the planets here have moons. Even a small asteroidal airless moon, I'd be fine with, you know. At the outskirts, moving on though, at the outskirts of the system, we have the Keeger Belt, which is basically the outer rim of Nix. This system is about 11.8 astronomical units across. So, yeah. Honestly, those are the first three systems that are likely going to be in Star Citizen. Pyro is fairly likely going to be this year. So it's going to be Stanton, Pyro, then Nix, which already has a pre-existing landing zone. So we have a straight path here. But after that, things get very, very complicated. Because, okay. A lot of people have been pointing out from Nix, Odin, which is where a lot of Squadron 42 happens. Now, I think they're going to have to redo some assets for Odin. This is post Squadron 42. I still hold this in my heart that this will be a post SQ-42 system, but we'll see. The parent star at the center of Odin is Odin Prime, which is a white dwarf. It's already a dead star. It's dead, it's dying, it's basically in its death throes. You know, this is a star at the end of its life. After that, the innermost of its surviving planets was destroyed. It's become an asteroid cluster called the Coil. Reading from the information, this asteroid cluster is thought to be the remains of the first planet in the system, destroyed by the star entering its red giant phase. Known as the Coil, it is beset with a consistent electrical storm. Although independent mining outfits are strongly discouraged from operating in the Coil due to the environmental hazards and roaming outlaw packs that have been known to hide in the area, miners continue to try their luck at extracting the valuable resources from the cluster. Now, this might eventually become the Coil's replacement planet. It's gaining its former moon, which might gain enough mass, probably from the debris over the centuries, to become a larger object. It might. Moving on from the Coil, we have Odin, which is a Chthonian planet. It's a mostly uninhabited world that houses isolated testing facilities for scientists and various corporations who use the desolation to conduct more dangerous operations. Its moon, Vili, serves as a waypoint for those working here. Vili, after that, has a home to Rayleigh Station, which is a waypoint for contractors bringing supplies to the waypoints and facilities on Odin 2 below. Right. So Vili will probably be a stop for you truck haulers. Odin 3, meanwhile, another Chthonian, is a small dead planet that contains a fossil record that could reveal secrets of Odin's past inhabitants. Right. And then after that, we have Odin 4, which is way out here. It's a gas giant that's hydrogen rich, that's home to several refineries. So, yeah, it's very interesting, you know, that Hold on. It is kind of interesting that definitely gosh, what was I trying to say? It's definitely interesting that Odin has all this stuff. And also, don't forget there's a heavy military presence here in Odin. Odin has a massive, massive military presence. So, yeah, it's fascinating stuff. I'm checking something, chat. Hold on. Why is this? Okay, that's weird. It's interesting. Anyways, besides all of that, I don't think Odin will be open for some time. At least not immediately. Mainly because it's a Squadron 42 related system, but who knows? I guess we'll find out eventually. Uh-oh. Did my computer just go kerplooey? I think it did. There we go. After Odin, we really don't know where we're going. So yeah, Odin's part of something that's already being worked on. There are already assets for Odin that pre-exist. Nyx, there are assets that exist for that. Pyro is done, but still being worked on. And Stanton, well, we're playing it right now. So I would consider those four likely the first four systems that will be of some level of completion. Now, for the fifth system, that's really a toss-up for me. Because when you think about it, there's a huge region that these systems that are already mentioned, Nyx, Pyro, Stanton over here, and Odin, all connect to. You have so many systems that are interconnected here. One of them that people keep bringing up is Castra, which is relatively simple. It's a blue star system. It's a blue system. Very bright. This is a B-type star, by the way. So this is incredibly hot. Hotter than our sun, many times more massive. Just think of it. If you think you're having difficulty flying in Stanton right now, this is absolutely going to make it mandatory for them needing some sort of filtration on ship, stuff. It's crazy. Whoa. Get out of that. Castra 1, as far as we know, is a coreless planet. It has no mining resources, and it lacks an atmosphere. It's basically a big rock in space. The UE Navy has used this world as bombing runs, so it's earned the nickname of Bullseye. So I think that would be an appropriate rename for this planet. The name Bullseye. Since it's already a nickname, Castra 1, why not make the name official and put a gigantic crater on one side? You know, that way it keeps the name Bullseye, right? Simple, simple. Another reason this system is pretty important is that most of the systems we've already talked about are just civilian systems. This is not. This is a former forward military base in Castcom, which is Castra 2. Castra 2 could still have military living here. So, and people are like, well, so what? You could have missions here that are related to the UEE or military-wise. I know I'm speculating a little bit, but it seems Star Citizen's MO is to try out new systems with new things that are brought to the table. This system would have a lot of Okay, get away from that. Come on. I don't know why it does that. It's only this system that does this on. Stop. That star has got to be bright and enormous. This system is currently 22 astronomical units across. And if you look carefully, it connects to both Nyx and Pyro. It loops back on them. So it forms a complete loop. After that, in the same region, another system that could likely be fairly easy to make, and with all the hints at, with ships that are being made, we have, I can't disassociate or discount Hadrian. Now, people are like, well, that's a Xi'an system or a Xi'an border world system, and you're right. Hadrian borders Xi'an space. This system is the border, a former Perry line system. It basically borders the UE and, Xi'an empires. It's basically a border world system. It has 3 planets and an immense star. This is one of the first giant class stars. It's a red giant, a star that's dying at the end of its life. Very fascinating looking star. I can imagine there being flares or something on this being dangerous to traverse. It's absolutely huge. Okay, go back. Quit doing that. Just don't click on the star. Well, after Hadrian, that one, we have Hadrian 1, which is small, kind of like Jupiter. Well, this is like Crusader, but it's a gas planet with a rocky core. It's too volatile to terraform. So they've tried, but it won't work. Also, look how close it is to the star. This is simply a gas giant. Moving out from Hadrian 1, we have Hadrian 2, which is a gas giant. It's a featureless blue ball like Jupiter, or Neptune, and Uranus. So this planet could have moons down the road. I'd be fine with that. Yes, I would. Quit going back to the damn star. Near Hadrian 2, we have this, which is a flotilla of stuff. This is the Hadrian flotilla. On the Lagrange point of Hadrian 2, there's a mini-mall cluster of former military stations that have been converted into a massive bazaar. Some newer trade stations have opened in recent years as the site has become a mecca of trade to the Xi'an. So, yeah, this area is a massive trade and commercial hub for all of you traders. Nearby, we also have Hadrian Belt Alpha, but I wouldn't recommend mining here unless you have friends that might bail you out if you hit a mine. There are apparently minefields here. Also orbiting the star is Hadrian 3, which is a large, massive ice giant, nicknamed the Watcher. They could simply shorten the name to Watcher, which would be a cool name for a planet. It supposedly keeps its eye on Hadrian. Very interesting name. Now, this system is very large, but it's not overly complicated. Even if you added moons to the mix, all you need is missions to go here, probably some events, the Lagrange stations, which, let's see, there'd be 2 here, 3 here. There'd be fairly large jumps, but yeah, you could get away with it pretty good. Yep. That's Hadrian for you. Hadrian's a big system, though. My concern would be people, running out of gas before they get anywhere near the Lagrange points. Or they pick the wrong ship. Because look at this. Hadrian's right here. Follow the jump lines a little further. This is on the inner edge of the lines, and right here is Ryla. Ryla is 2 jump points away from Hadrian. 1, 2. Gurzil is a tiny system that's forming. This system is basically just a debris field orbiting a star. Nothing really here. This is a planetary system in the making. That's it. It's kind of a boring system. Yeah, I know. So basically that, between here and Hadrian, this is the first Xi'an system. Now, depending on which way they go, if they actually did put Hadrian in and did Gurzil next, the first system that would be Xi'an in line would be Ryla. Ryla is this system. Which this won't be for some time. But look how big Ryla is, folks. Look at this. It's 36 AUs across. It's pretty big. But it will probably be adapted in time. Ryla Prime is an A-type star. Ryla 1 is a protoplanet that lacks an atmosphere. Ryla 2 is a gas giant whose close proximity to the star results in high surface temperatures. It's classified as a puffy planet due to a large radius and very low density. Ryla 3 is a terrestrial rocky planet unlikely to be terraformed due to its surface of dense, jagged rocks. The planet also has a thin atmosphere and a very rapid rotation. So probably not a very hospitable planet to live on. Shoreview, or Ryla 4, is a terraformed planet. When the Cold War with the Xi'an ended, they began converting Shorvu into an industrial hub. Human businesses are encouraged to establish offices here among the many business parks, making the planet an interesting mix of both cultures. So this is probably a good area to start trading between empires. Zai, my nickname, is a heavily populated super Earth that is home to 50 to 100 billion Xi'an. Visitors and traders are welcome, but restricted to a landing zone in the city of Corellia. That's a funny name. Foreigners are forbidden from leaving the landing zone as the dense area is filled with dense tropical vegetation. A community of UE expatriates and political refugees has been growing ever since the Meser days. Wow. So that's Zai. Then we have Ryla 6, which is a dwarf planet with no atmosphere. It barely has any light. It's very cold out here. So this would be the first Xi'an system. Probably. But would it really? It all is due to how CIG approaches this. I mean, they could do many, many things. I really think they're going to focus on the human systems first and then worry about, Stanton's and the other empires later. If we zip around the map, we'll see that there are several systems we can't even get to. From Pyro, by the way, we're about 3 jumps from Sol. Just so you know. So Pyro's being worked on now. Kano is the next system in that jump. Say you wanted to go to Earth or Sol. Kano is your next stop from Pyro. It has some names. So Kano might be on the short list of things being worked on. That's how I think. Wait, what was that? Kano is a main sequence G. Kano 1 is a tidally locked mesoplanet that orbits rapidly around its star. Cartiana is a water world. For centuries, geoengineers have tried to terraform this ocean world with relatively little success in covering it and converting its thick atmosphere. However, all attempts were halted when microscopic organisms were discovered deep in the water and Cartiana was placed under protective restrictions. Seeking to guard the developing indigenous life form, planetary settlements are strictly regulated. There's actually a settlement here below the surface at the polar ice cap on Cartiana. Kano 3, meanwhile, is a smog planet with a small research station. So there might be a second landing zone instead of just Cartiana, probably on Kano 3. Don't know. There's also an alpha asteroid belt. And then we have Pox, which is an unusual name. It's a gas giant. A large gas giant composing of red and brown. Surveys indicate that the planet suffers from massive storms, some as large as 1,000 kilometers across. So it's similar to Jupiter, I guess, but with temporary storms. No moons in that system either, but I noticed that there was a name there. Kano might actually happen or be on the short list after Nyx. That would be interesting if it was. After that, we have Davian on the way to Sol. What star is this? This is a main sequence K type star. Doesn't look like a K, it looks like an M to me. But I digress. A planet? Huh. Davian 1 of the Davian system is a small coreless world that's been mined of its mineable resources. Though I'm assuming there'll probably be a reason to go there. Just saying. Cestalus, or Davian 2, is terraformed, though most of the population lives underground in biodomes. Trade with the Banu has waned over the years, but the planet still boasts robust commerce activity as home to the corporate headquarters of Aegis Dynamics. So Aegis is headquartered on this planet. Penicillin. This has a name. Named after a local physicist, Dr. David Penicillin, who's work on improving quantum drive efficiency, redefined long-distance travel. Interesting. And after that, we have Davian 4, which is a smog planet. It's highly acidic. It makes it not suitable for visiting with most spacecraft. After that, we have Davian, what is this? 4, I guess. It's an uninhabited ice giant in close proximity to the Cathcart point. Orbiting the planet is the Banu Friendship Museum, established to commemorate the first meeting of humanity with the Banu. So, yeah. And that would be the Davian system, which is relatively simple-ish. So we've gone 2 jump points from Pyro. 1, 2. And then we return home to Sol. Well, folks, we're home. Welcome to Sol, Commander. Lieutenant, I should say. That's funny. I highly doubt they would do Sol right away. Our solar system would be so hard to do. I'm just telling everyone that. Because as much as I would love to see Earth and everything orbiting it, yeah, it's unlikely. Main sequence G. We have Mercury, which is our iron planet. Venus, which is a smog planet. Obviously. Earth. Now, Earth, I'm expecting several things of it. There are currently 3 planned landing zones for Earth: New York, Moscow, and Shanghai. There have been rumors in the works there are going to be 2 more, so 5 landing zones for Earth. But we'll see. Kind of hoping that we get another one. At least, somewhere. It's going to be a heavily populated place. Also, the important thing to know is don't expect your house. That leads to disappointment. If you're expecting to find your house on Earth, don't. You won't. It's been 800 years. Then we have the moon, which probably will have settlements on it, I'm assuming. After that, we have Mars. It's two tiny little moons. It's a prosperous and populated planet. What are these? Oh, wow. Phobos and Deimos are actually clickable now. How about that? Here's Deimos, which is a lumpy potato, and it's an asteroid. Yeah, this is basically a potato moon. That's funny. And Phobos is only 6,000 kilometers away. It rises in the west and sets in the east each Martian day. Yep. After that, we have the Herschel Belt, also called the asteroid belt. Now, here's where things are going to get interesting, folks. See, we have Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Okay? At Jupiter, if we click on Jupiter, we have the four main Galilean moons. But remember, Jupiter has dozens of moons. We have Europa. Callisto, which is heavily cratered. Wow. It's overexposed, man. Io, which is volcanic. And then orbiting Jupiter, looks like there's a space station here. It's Ganymede. Bigger than Mercury and only slightly smaller than Mars. But what's near Jupiter? What is this? IMS Boulevard. Though no longer in active service since the Marine Forces station here were reassigned to Mars, the base remains strictly off limits. Okay, but how are you going to keep people away? That's a good question. Saturn has its major moons, of course. But here's where we get into a bit of a problem. The Sol Davian jump points up here with Innes Dunlay, Uranus and its moons, and then we have Neptune. Neptune is an interesting odd duck. Look around it. There are no moons. Yet, Neptune is known to have 27 moons. Well, either 14, 17 or 27. I can't remember the exact number. It also has rings. So yeah, and there's a jump point at Neptune. The Croshaw jump point is technically supposed to be near Neptune. So I don't know what's going on with that. Pluto and Charon. So yeah, it's interesting. Sol, in other words, is 3 jump points from Stanton. 1, 2, 3, 1, 4, 5. No, it's 5 jump points. I don't think they're going to do Stanton right away because it's too hard for them to do it right away. You know? Doesn't make sense for them to go clear to Stanton right away. Either way, definitely. Seems pretty dang quiet tonight. Nobody's jumping in or anything. Hold on. Yeah. Well, huh. It might be too late at night to be doing this. It's about 7 o'clock. Anyways, chat, that's all I really wanted to cover because, I mean, here we are, we're in 2024, we're beginning to see the fruit of our development come out. And by the way, before I let everyone go, there's a few things I need to cover. Hold on just a second. I'm going to go to the front page of RSI because, yeah. In this week in SC, yeah. If you're, we have the roadmap. Oh, shit. The roadmap update, ISC and Star Citizen Live are still on break, but they'll be returning soon. Thursday, we'll see a start of In Case You Missed It promotion, which will pick up ships you released in 2023. National Popcorn Day. Oh, no. Yeah, our sign mailbox. Okay, and this, like I said earlier in the news, the cast, Daymar Rally will be Saturday, early. This week's kind of the slowest week in Star Citizen right now, unfortunately, because it is. Yeah. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but it just is. Definitely slow tonight, which I understand. You know, it's due to a lot of factors, but yeah. Yeah, I am kind of bummed out that we aren't returning to our normal schedule yet, but got to remember a lot of stuff's going on right now. So I think Inside Star Citizen returns next week or the week after next. I could be wrong. Definitely don't know, but I mean, it's one of the two, you know. Anyways. Good. I'm gonna raid a friend of mine. He's a good buddy. I'm kind of not feeling great tonight. He's a good buddy. Pay him some, give him some love. So I'll send y'all over there. Cheers, everyone.